Creating or editing a recipe. Recipes can be created or edited from the recipe page. Commands to edit recipes are near the top of the right screen, while the bottom right has commands to edit steps. It is recommended to open an existing recipe and save it with a new name and make the desired edits. Parameters can be changed by clicking on the relevant field and entering new values. Insert step command inserts a blank step before the chosen step. Need to input from and number of steps to be inserted in the corresponding fields. Copy and replace and delete functions operate in a similar fashion. Clear commands clears the entire recipe and is generally not useful. Recipe parameters and step completion commands. Lampoly is an inductively coupled plasma etcher with two power sources. Inductively/transformer coupled plasma, ICP/TCP, is also called source power or top power as it is applied to the top electrode. Bias power is applied to the bottom electrode. In this tool, no bias voltage control option. Bias voltage is only an output variable and not an input variable. Pressure, gas flows, and backside helium pressure are other key input variables. Gap should be set at 5.9 centimeters for all process steps. Step completion commands are chosen from one of the following options. Stability moves the next step when parameters are stable within tolerance limits. Time, endpoint, triggers next step when conditions are met. Overetch, percentage of endpoint time, and end, last step. When stability or endpoint is chosen as a process end condition, the time becomes maximum time for that step. There are additional pages in the recipe setup. They are recipe tolerance, endpoint, and recipe parameters. They can be accessed by clicking on the recipe field near the top of the page and choosing the appropriate page to display. Recipe tolerance will have 3 columns for each recipe step. First column displays the recipe parameters set through the recipe page, and the second and third columns are for tolerance limits at a percentage of the set point. Parameter page has information on temperature set points and the tolerance limit for those. Note that the recipe control of the electrode temperature is no longer working after the replacement of the chiller, and the electrode temperature is set at the chiller. Endpoint parameter displays endpoint setup parameters.